Welcome to another episode of Trucker Talk. It's a beautiful day today.
Yeah,
Uh,
but it's still it's still chilly.
yeah, it's chilly, man, but it's Tennessee, so
Yeah.
you know how it is. But quick recap from last week: selfishness is choosing comfort over the relationship's health, wanting all the benefits without the effort, expecting understanding but giving none, taking from a partner who's always giving. Making decisions that serve you, not both of you. And like I said, I've known some selfish people in my life, and you know, we're all human. I've been selfish back in
Yeah.
my days, so some people can relate, some people can't relate. So today we're gonna dive into a question a lot of people don't want to say out loud, but everybody's thinking it.
Yep.
So, and I posted this on Facebook, but what percentage does sex play in a healthy relationship in 2025? So, and I know we always come back to relationship topics, but 2025, like dating is different now, man. And so as far as like, I mean, when it comes to technology, stress, long hours, and mental, I'm gonna say mental health and mental illness. It's all in that umbrella. It all impacts intimacy. So people's expectations have shifted. So I know you listen a lot, man. So you you
You know,
listen to the world, what's going on in the world.
you have to.
So
Sometimes you learn a lot by listening and not saying a whole lot.
but I mean, like me, I listen because like I said I got a lot of friends that are married, and I take
Mhm.
notes. So and I know a female friend of mine. She lives in Atlanta. We had this conversation, and I posed a question to her, and like I said, from a male and a female's perspective, it's different.
Yes.
So we had a great conversation about it, and then just like we talked about before we even started this, like I think even with some of my experiences, like I want to be transparent with people, and depending on, and you can have depending on I guess the length of the relationship, or
Mhm.
as far as whether you, I mean, but my whole thing is if somebody that don't, if it's gonna work, if it's gonna be like a good relationship, I kind of communicate that in the very, very beginning. But it's kind of different. But like you said, you got different stages in the relationship, marriage, or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but I think, like I said, everybody's different. Everybody's different. So,
And we talked about this for almost several days now, trying to figure out the way to say this or to phrase it, but not put it all under like one umbrella because there's a lot of variables in what we were about to talk about. And we piggybacked off each other, bounced questions off. And I even asked a coworker of mine, I said, what do you think about this? And of course, she gave me like several scenarios or more.
right,
And I'm like, wow, I didn't think about that. But if I, then of course, I told you even after church today, I said, I'm going to try to phrase this where it can be one word or several words, but meaning just one thing. If you just had to take one thing to this table and you take out most of the variables, because there are going to be variables, and you're going to each listener is going to have a variable. But
right,
let's just say take out a variable, take out the variables, and say um, the percentage that you expect your expectations in a relationship of sex. So, what percentage would you say your percentage is if the relationship's still early? We just we're gonna do this thing. We're gonna become a couple. If you had expectations, what the percentage going to be without the other variables in there?
right.
What would it be since we just met a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is? Because if you take somebody that's been together for a long time, the percentage is lower. If the age
Right.
changes, it's going to be more. So we just say let's take out a lot of the variables and then go to like let's push this closer to give me a number that you can live with percentage wise, and let that be your number. So if you think sex is 50% of the relationship, is your expectation, then it's going to be 50%. If it's 60, it's 60. If it's 100%, it's 100%. So we can't say, well, she's got, or he's got one eye or one leg, but all those variables going to change. They just go. That's
Those some high numbers. Hey, that's high, man.
It is high, but you know what? I had somebody said theirs was 50.
High.
Somebody said theirs was 60 to 50%.
Oh,
and I looked at her. I said, that's pretty good, but this person was still young. Also, start getting older, all those things are going to change. That's why I wanted to,
right.
when I talked to you earlier, I said, can we take out some variables and just make it when a couple just got together? Yeah, it's been a month now. We're going to just be exclusive to each other. Now, the expectations are this.
It's going to go up.
Yeah. So now let's go with this. Say the relationship is going to bloom from this point on, whether it be 6 months, 3 months. This is what our expectations are going to be from this point on. We're not going to add any more variables in here for his age, what time the sun came up this morning, or what time, if we forgot to feed the dog. Take everything out. And we're just going to make it simple, because we're trying to get it's just like I asked you a while back. I posed this question to you. You said, out of all the things you're going to ask me this. Remember, I said, one, is the world heavier or weighs the same from, say, 100 years ago? And you said, out of all the things, you're going to ask me that. Because I'm thinking, okay, if the world doesn't weigh more.
It does.
Well, but how does gravity keep it that orbiting in the same spot without it moving if it weighs more? Because in my logic, my brain, I'm thinking, if it weighs more, it has to shift one way or another. But gravity keeps it there. But we're talking about a whole nother battle wax. We're gonna get off that subject, because
you're going down a rabbit hole now, man. But that's a deep question.
Yeah, that's another one, because it's like you got everything that is built on Earth is already made from Earth. So nothing was shipped to Earth to make houses or to build. All the materials still here. So those materials are minus. So is the weight the same of the Earth? But anyway,
that's a deep question.
We're going to talk about that some other time. But anyway, let's get back to the percentage. So we thinking percentage, early on relationship, we're going to become exclusive. Now we put down expectations. So
correct.
The expectations are, what percentage of sex is viable to this relationship?
Well, okay, and I like it. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to invite the listeners. So I want you to comment below, and you can, you can't, but what percentage do you think? So it's just your opinion, but my opinion, it's just a personal opinion, starting out in a relationship, because I'm not just, like I said, I'm not a young bull no more. I'm living at different times now, but even then, my percentage is going to be lower. That's just a personal thing for me, because I'm in a different space, and I'm not about that life no more. So, but I got to get to know somebody and all, and so forth. But, because I'm looking at the whole connection. I'm looking at their brain. I'm not looking. I mean, you can be. Austin said, you can have muscles and be dumb as a brick.
Yes.
So it ain't even about all that. And some people, they get caught up in the looks.
Yep.
And some people that's got looks, they got a lot of stress and they got a lot of anxiety, and that's what they want. That's the lifestyle they want. But I'm not built like that. So I don't want no part of it. But from an emotional perspective, so sex as connection, bonding, and you're vulnerable. You show your vulnerability. So people who value emotional intimacy, I can't say intimacy more than physical intimacy. The rise of love languages, touch versus everything else. And like love languages, I don't know if you ever listened or read that book or listened to it, but that's a good book.
Oh, wow.
And it basically, like my love language is acts of service. Like, I like to do stuff for people, and that's what pleases me. And it, as a person, that satisfies me doing stuff for people. But you got, if y'all, I don't know the author of that book, but the four love languages. It's a good book, man.
Awesome.
So the 5 love languages, but it's a good book. But so modern day factors. So how 2025 affects intimacy and you got your phones, you got distractions,
Yes.
uh, work overload. Like I said, your schedules, one person can work night shift, one person can work day shift, but you just got to figure that out.
Yeah,
You
right.
got to communicate that and figure that out. But then you also got the mental health and the stress and the anxiety.
Mhm.
So some people they may be going through some things,
Yes.
and it's one of those things like it will. If you're depressed and it shuts you down, it sucks the life out of you, man.
Oh, it drains you big
It
time.
sucks
Yeah.
the life out of you. So, but also porn and unrealistic expectations because you got some people they be like, man, I can do this, X, Y, and Z, and I'm
Yeah.
like, look, man, I don't know what planet you live on, but that don't exist. I don't know. Social media attention replacing real intimacy, and just like those things, hey, what we talk about, like those, you got those people, they got them pages, and it's more like clickbait, and
Yes.
they it's like, don't get me wrong, they may be pretty, but they do these things, and one of the things I've learned about, well, social media like TikTok, like I'm still learning a lot of things, but some things I pick up on quick, and just like on TikTok, they'll have. You got men and women on TikTok, but some women, and it's like I guess what I don't understand is you got some of the married ones on there, and me, like I have days where I got downtime, and so say you may have somebody on there, and it just you can be scrolling, it'll pop up, and I'm sitting here. So you got a lady that's sitting there in lingerie, right? And so me, I'm bored. I might be drinking my coffee, and then you got like these guys. They're like, "Hey, baby," or "Hey, sexy,"
Yeah.
and then she'll come back and she'll say, "My husband's in the other room." I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm sitting there, like, wait a minute, you sitting here in this lingerie looking pretty, and your husband is in the like you. How do you? But they're advertised like, but some, like I said, I'm not in no relationship like that, but some relationships, like their wives are on there and they are advertising stuff, and it's like me as a man, or even if I'm with somebody, I'd be like, look, I can't. Not saying that I'm jealous,
Well,
but you got how many people? How many people's on the internet looking at that? If you got your because some people got their locations on their like where their location
oh
is. So
wow.
you got these people in this world. They'll track you down. Like they'll
Yes. Yeah.
if it says Indiana or Texas, man, they'll go to Texas looking for you. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So
Woo.
in my mind, that's what goes on in my mind. I'm like, okay, you're on her advertising line. I know you got the little link below where you got to click it. This is what I just like I said, I'm slow. And I'm just sitting there like, but they get mad because them guys, like from all over the world, they're commenting. I'm just
Commenting.
like,
Yeah.
so you can't really call them They're like, oh, you're a pervert. I'm like, no, you're in lingerie and your husband's in the other room and you're talking to all these people that you don't know, but you're trying to make that money.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's a
Well,
financial
is it crazy to
situation.
me? Is it crazy? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's that
It's a
again, in my
survival tactic.
opinion, it's a way of it's an well, you know what sells. Always has and always will. And it's all about,
Well,
it's
they said
money.
sex
Sex sells.
sells.
Right. And it does. And it always will. It always will. But yeah, that's kind of what we at with that. Cause like I said, we talked about this for several days, and it's like, how are we gonna phrase this where we can take out the percentage of variables in this? So all those things make a difference. And all
Right.
those things changes the percentage, so um yeah, because being a married and then you being unmarried, our expectations are totally different. But
Right.
like I said, that's why I said we should break it down to the point where uh, early on in the relationship, good, you would throw that out there at the beginning and just kind of seek out of curiosity what percentage is a high percentage, or is there a super low percentage if you take out all the variables?
Well, when you talk about health conditions, like some people got health conditions, and some
Yes.
people, but like I said, it all depends on the relationship
Yeah.
because um, situations I've seen, just from what I've seen, like you got people they're together, but they're surviving,
Right. Right.
and that's like further for the like, well, in their situation, it's further from their mind
Mhm.
because they may have a lot of kids, and either
Variables.
or may not, be fixed, and they're just like, you know what, we just not going. But
Yeah.
there again, I can't like it can't be me. I'm just like everybody's situation different,
Right.
but
Right.
I just seeing what goes on and seeing what's out there in the world. It's a lot that goes on. And I guess I asked, I don't know if I never asked you, but I asked a buddy of mine, a doctor friend of mine. I was asking him about because me, I guess being single at 41, you look back and you think, because I've had friends that got married when they was 18, 19. Fast forward, they're divorced now. So, and at 41, like, I guess I wasn't in my feelings, but when you look at that, you thinking, well, dang, should I have gotten married and go? And I can just say, me, we, me and my son's mom, we had a son. I had a son at 19. I wasn't married, but and then I look back at life and it's like I don't regret. I've never regret anything. I don't, my decision was my decisions. And I look back and I'm thinking, wow, like I had a child. We had a child at a young age.
Mhm.
Then I look back and I look back when I'm older, I'm thinking, could I have had a child later on in life? So I look at like different
Right,
variables
right.
and I ask myself, do I wish I would have got married at a young age? And when I think about it now, I'm like, no, I don't. I'm glad I didn't because in my early 20s, well, of course, I didn't know the things that I know now.
Mhm.
I think some people can get wrapped up into individuals and there again, everybody's situation is different, but you can get trauma. Well, some people they trauma bomb. You can get trauma out of different relationships
Mhm.
also. So if you done had 5 or 6 different relationships before you 41, you got a lot of baggage you
Got
carrying.
all the baggage, yeah. You
So
also, I think you become defensive also because once you
expensive. Oh,
you start realizing some of the relationship you had and what caused it. Can't pinpoint it, but I think you start putting that little shield up because you're thinking this may have been the reason for this ship to end, may have been a reason for this relationship to end. So you playing like almost like a Russian roulette. Well, I think it's this, so I'm going to guard myself from that. Ultimately, I think sometimes you can be guarding yourself from something that's good, but you don't know until you, like, say, address what causes those issues from the beginnings. Basically, self help.
correct.
See what's going on with you first before you assume it's everybody else.
Yeah, and some people they need to do that. They need
Yeah.
to just work on themselves before
Yes. Yes.
you jump to another relationship. Because sometimes that's jumping in the fire. You
Yeah.
jump back right back in the frying pan.
Yep.
So, but back to the whole, so my percentage, like I said, I got a low percentage. I'm gonna stick with that. I think as far as the sex and relationship, it's important, but some people say it's not everything, but it
It
is to
is.
some
Yes.
people.
It is.
So,
Yep.
but want to reinforce the communication, the trust and respect, and I think that's a big thing. Is if y'all have that talk, have that conversation, and you're not out there, what they say, whore, you ain't out there whore. It's one thing to have that conversation, and your person, your partner, your wife, whoever, they're comfortable. But if you had a conversation and you out to 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, it's like, come on now, why you
Uh,
hanging out at 2 o'clock in the morning? You know what I'm saying?
with the boys,
That's a
with the
problem. So,
girls. Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, but I'm gonna have y'all, like I said, have y'all drop your percentages down below. But can a relationship, and this is a question, um, has sex? Well, this is another question. So, has sex become more important or less important in 2025? I got two questions. Sorry. And then the second one is, can a relationship survive if the sex is good but the communication is bad? So
Comment on that
just
one.
comment on that.
That'd be
So
good. That'd
that's
be
just two
good.
questions that I wrote down. And it says, and again, so has sex become more important or less important in 2025? Or that's the second question is, can a relationship survive if the sex is good but the communication is bad? So closing thoughts. Sex won't fix a broken relationship, but the lack of intimacy can break a good one. I'm gonna say that again. So sex won't fix a broken relationship, but the lack of intimacy can break a good one.
Mhm.
So, um, safety tip of the day. This is a deep one. Your attitude in the cab affects your decision on the road. So drive calm and not angry.
Absolutely.
I think with some people, man, everybody's got road rage.
Yep.
We all do. It's built. Well, we all got
Well,
it.
we all kind of get different reasons, cause for different emotions. You know, we in a hurry, we running behind, we 8 people call and say, "Where are you?" or "What time are you going to be here?" or "Hurry up." Changes your mentality. It's just like, I'll be there when I can. But be safe. Really, you need to think about, like I said, your attitude changes a lot.
It does. It really does. And before I wrap this up, boy today, man, he was on one today.
The whole,
he
yep.
he always deliver, and he gave a good message today.
Oh,
So,
good.
and what I think is interesting about, you know, as we switching up to this topic now, they having, 4 services, for the
For
Christmas.
Christmas, yes.
So, but the illustrate, I like to say illustration. He talks about, you got, what was that? It was a game, but you digging that hole. He's like, you digging a hole. You got one person that'll dig a hole. They may dig it smaller, but you got this other person that dig it a whole lot bigger. And then the water starts coming through, and this person over here is like, man, I ain't got no
Enough water.
I ain't got no water cup. But so just the way he gave that illustration
Dig-
today,
dig capacity.
and he goes back to the whole faith. It's like you got to have faith, man. If you
Yes.
don't have that faith, and you can people, people they give up. They give up before the breakthrough.
Yep. See
I
it
kind of
all
like
the
how you
time.
gave that example, man. It was
That was
pretty deep.
good. It was pretty deep.
So, but yeah, like, share, subscribe. Got any ideas or whatever? We try to come up with different things and just stuff that's on our mind,
Yeah.
stuff that run across our mind. Just have conversation topics about it.
We'll be checking those too. So we may have to revisit this again.
Oh, I think we probably will though. And another thing, one thing we may try, but we'll try it at a different time, just with the whole when we get to a certain point to have people call, like
Ooh, that would be awesome.
certain ones, or call, certain whoever, depending on who, we pick and choose,
Yes.
and have a conversation to dive in on the conversation
Mhm.
also.
That'd
But
be
we would
cool.
have to pick a good time, a
Time for
good
that,
day.
yeah. And we have to learn a little bit more about what we're doing, because
Correct.
we still fine tuning a lot of things, and
Right.
so it just takes a while. It's a process of learning.
Yeah, everything's a process. Just like we laugh and we start forgetting had the shirt on the wall with the tape on it. So, and like I was saying, you go back to the first episode I quit counting, because it's
Yeah.
like it's just topics now. So it's it's whatever topics we talk about, and just we'll leave it to there.
Yep.
So, but thank you all for listening, and we appreciate you all, and hope y'all have a good evening. And
Thank you
man,
so
I
much.
appreciate you as always, brother.
As
10-4,
always,
brother.
appreciate you.
It's the drip from me.